it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, August 1st. So welcome to the very first day of August. If you haven't listened to the energy forecast, the intro for what August is going to be, I'm going to recommend you go do that. Having a month start on a Monday does kind of set the tone on what it is that we can experience, and seeing as the moon rules over Monday and the moon currently in Virgo energy, we have to understand that we're getting back down to earth. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. There's going to be a lot of changes that we're going to have to reorganize and restructure our days, our physical reality in order to actually adapt and align to. There's going to be a lot of solutions appear out of nowhere, a lot of interesting habits, routines that we're going to have to adopt in order to actually start bridging the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The month is jam-packed, full of twists and turns, ups and downs, and of course, portal jumping. And jumping into the very first day of August, we have plenty of energies just preparing us for a dramatic shift, a dramatic change. The moon will be going void, of course, at 6:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and will be locking into Libran energy very early on in Tuesday morning. There are 11 different aspects here today, and 9 of them involve the moon. The moon is going to trine Mars, trine the true node, trine Uranus. We've been talking about this Uranus true node conjunction. Now we have Mars in the mix. This is a shake-up. This is a wake-up. This is expecting the unexpected in order to align us with new opportunities, new people, new timelines, new contracts in order for us to pursue. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, is giving us the get up and go in order to actually roll up our sleeves and actually do something in our physical realms to start piecing together foundational cornerstones on what it is we actually need to see come into fruition in our lives to make this dramatic change. The moon in Virgo, of course, wants to focus in on the details of our lives, wants to analyze everything right to death, wants us to recognize where restructuring and reorganizing our thoughts, our emotions, and then our physical circumstances is absolutely necessary if we are going to make a change. This Virgo energy, although very earthy, is inspired by the mental plane. Our focus on intentions, on a new reality, is very important at this time. It's literally what we're able to manifest and bring to earth. This particular energy is definitely adding a lot of edginess, a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety to our physical bodies here today, and we are going to have to take a little bit of time to adjust to what August energy is all about. We have Mercury bumping into Neptune, which is going to really highlight for us where it is that we're kind of shaky, where we're uncertain, where we're indecisive. And again, we're having all of these downloads, all of these opportunities just spark in our mental plane on where it is that we're going to be jumping timelines here shortly. And now we're questioning everything. This particular energy is going to make it feel like we're not able to connect to our intuition, not able to connect to our higher selves. We are a little bit more reliant on our ego mentality, where logic and practicality is concerned. And the downside of that is that our current circumstances aren't really permitting us to dream the kind of dream that we have for ourselves. We may even find ourselves trying to get lost in a daydream, but with this disconnect to this Neptune energy, we might find it hard to even go to La La Land. This is definitely going to stunt our productivity for the day. It is going to interrupt our communication within ourselves, between our heart and our head, and of course, project outwards that confusion, that uncertainty, those doubts in our personal relationships and in those conversations. Now, the moon is going to bump into Saturn shortly after, and this is likely going to present an opportunity in our physical realm to get a little bit serious, to get a little bit somber, to figure out where it is that we need to boss up, where it is we need to grow up, be a little bit more mature, on recognizing what it is that we actually have to do. Sitting around praying is no longer the thing to do. We have to put some muscle behind changing some of the circumstances in our daily lives that we're not happy with. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles and responsibilities, ruling over structures and foundations, needs us to really analyze where it is that we are failing to provide ourselves the right kind of foundation, the right kind of routine to actually boss up and build this bridge that's going to get us away from where it is that we're at and get us closer to where it is that we desire to be. The moon is going to semi-square the sun. This is a little bit of a tension point. This is an overlap between our emotions and our energy. The moon, of course, in Virgo energy, very attached to analyzing the past so that we don't make the same mistakes. The sun in Leo energy, shining a bright light on where it is that we got to get out of our heads, out of our heart space, and really just take action. We need to be bold. We need to be brave. We need to be courageous. We need to step out of the shadows. We need to stop playing small. We are on the verge of a very beautiful, blossoming rebirth, but we got to get out of our headspace. We got to stop ripping ourselves down. We have to stop speaking fear into our dreams. The moon goes ahead and sits across from Neptune. Of course, the moon in Virgo sits across from the Piscean energy. Neptune rules over the Piscean energy, and Neptune is retrograde in the Piscean energy. This puts us at odds because the moon in Virgo really relies on the data, the statistics, the facts, the here and now, the evidence, the information coming in from our physical realms. But that Neptune energy is our higher selves, our intuition, our dreams, our la land. And right now we're at odds. We can't be too logical, too practical, too focused on the here and now without leaving room for that dream aspect to really be downloaded within us, to inspire us, to motivate us, to bust out, to bust free. There is a certain balance that we have to have here on not being too rigid with our thoughts, not being so stuck in the here and now that we're unable to dream, we're unable to visualize, we're unable to attach to our higher selves, to be inspired, to push through the current blockages, the current challenges of our here and now in order to get to a version of our reality that we actually want to be living. The moon bumps into Mercury's. This is very much the heart and the head at a conflict in a situation where, I will say, popping off outside of us in our external realm that we don't have control over, we may be receiving some information, some details that totally rocks us that we don't know what to do with. We may even be hearing a personal truth from a personal relationship. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane over communication and expression, is in Leo energy. We're thinking big, we're feeling big, we have a lot to say, but this particular energy is a little bit of a conflict because whatever information and details is coming in from our exterior realm isn't sitting right in our heart space. We're going to have to review, analyze it, critique it, rip it apart, rip it down in order for us to figure out what it is we actually want to do with ourselves from here. Before the moon goes void, of course, the moon in Virgo will be making a trine, a beautiful aspect, a harmonious aspect with Pluto, the god of the underworld, the great transformer himself. Whatever situations we've been dealing with here, wherever the mental blockages are, wherever the challenges have been to overcome certain fears and doubts and insecurities in our head and in our heart space, suddenly we have a solution. Again, the moon in Virgo is coming up with solutions to fix our problems emotionally, but this Pluto energy needs us to deep dive into our psyche to really start picking apart how it is that we got here, where it is in the past that we failed to stand up for ourselves, to take control over our lives, to stand in our power, to be the authority figure over our own lives. And in recognizing this and seeing the patterns emerge and seeing where the primary root cause of us feeling like it's safer and better to trust others to be in control of our lives instead of ourselves, this is a light bulb moment. Suddenly, when we have this aha moment, we can override the narrative. This is exactly what we need. This is exactly what we need to align ourselves in preparation to make a dramatic shift in our physical circumstances. First, the psyche needs to be in alignment, then the heart space, then those two in agreement can engage the physical body to do what we have to do in our physical realm to make the change, to make the transformation. Mars in Taurus will conjunct, sit next to, meet up with, bump into Uranus, the great awakener, who is also in Taurus energy. This is going to zap us. This is going to really create a sense of urgency. We have a tendency to want to take risks at this point, which you're going to really want to consider. We don't want to act on impulse without considering the consequences of our actions. We don't have time to F around. We don't have time to make mistakes. We don't have time to repeat past patterns and behaviors. We got to get to work. We got to boss up. We got to be mature enough to understand that we have to think first, act second. This is going to really add to the restlessness that we have. This is preparing us for making a major change. This is inspiring us and motivating us, really putting us in the right position to be bold, to be brave, to be courageous, to make things happen. We are following our passion. We're following our desires. We're in Leo season. We have no choice but to follow our heart and soul. And Mars has no want, need, or desire to slow down, to play small, to be fearful. That god of war needs us to boss up, to be bold, to be brave, and go after what it is that we're actually interested in pursuing. We're going to wrap the day up with the moon making a very, very harmonious aspect with Saturn. This is a boss up. This is us really putting our big girl, big boy panties on. This is us recognizing that if we want a different reality, we have to do different things. This is us realizing that there's new roles and responsibilities being asked by us in our soul contracts in order to jump timelines. This is us recognizing where it is that emotionally speaking, we got to get a little bit grounded. We have to get a little bit more serious about what needs to be built. Starting with our routine, our daily lives, starting with a strong foundation of belief in ourself. Yes, this is going to kind of drag us out a little bit, but we do have to come back to a grounding point, a center point before we can see our next steps. Again, August is a banger of a month. We're about to jump timelines. We have to do the inner preparation necessary in order to feel 100% prepared to make said jumps. The first day of August is definitely edging us on, preparing us, getting us in alignment to be able to actually see the changes and transformations take form in our physical reality.